हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Bhakti is it is explained about bhakti that sadhana, especially sadhana, is a certain procedure that a person must do in order to arrive at certain kind of previously known results. Like sadhana is a process that must inevitably lead to a result, and that result is called sadhya. But bhakti is not sadhya, it cannot be achieved like that. So nitya siddha krishna prema sadhya kabunoi. So sadhya kabunoi means really that prema is not something made, sadhya is something that can be prepared as a result of sadhana. So sadhana is something like cooking. You need to chop, mix, fry in the oil, pour some water, this, and there will be Krishna Prem. No, it is not like that. Krishna Prem is already existing. So Nitya Siddha, it is already existing. So it always exists or is always perfect, and we must come to this. So it must descend to us. So Prema is or Kare Uday, it must arise in the heart. So the emphasis is that Prema comes as a result of grace, as a result of mercy. Prema must come. This is not the result of some of our efforts. Whereas but sadhana is some systematic effort or a means to achieve goal. And bhakti by definition is ahaituki. Bhakti has no reason. Therefore, our efforts which we apply to attain bhakti are it's no guarantee that we'll get success. So it's a paradox. Now, what does sadhana means? Because the mercy of Lord is causeless, we know that bhakti comes as a result of grace, and yet we engage in some kind of sadhana. So there are many reasons why we nevertheless engage in sadhana, even though mercy comes. So first reason is that we in the material are programmed for these ideas about cause and effect. And we definitely need to give something that will lead us to some kind of result. That's actually what happens in this world, cause and effect. So we are programmed to get a result. Therefore, we on this side of causal ocean, where everything is cause and effect, everything is having a cause. But other side, where Krishna is staying, it is causeless. So Krishna is causeless. So he has no reason for bhakti. So the basic mood that prevails there is all causelessness. So why they serve Krishna? They don't need any reason. They just serve Krishna. Everything is causeless there. But we are all programmed for a reason. But the main reason is we are selfish. So we are discussing on Radhastami that the main person who loves Krishna is Ahaituki Apratyat. Ahaituki means no cause. And that is the best person is Radharani. So we are selfish people. So what do we do? No, we need to explain what is there we're going to get in this. That's why we start doing. So if we say that bhakti is causeless, then a person will sit and wait for that causeless message to descend. But we need to understand what we are actually doing and how, as a result of what we are doing, bhakti still comes to us. Even though it is causeless, still we have to do. It does not have strictly causal nature like all other things in this world. Please try to understand. Everything in this world has cause, but bhakti don't have cause. Because if we are uh, so bhakti is love for God is not related to this world. Therefore, whatever we do in this material world cannot give bhakti. It should be causeless only. That is the first aspect we should understand. And we are trying to attract the mercy of the Lord. That is the only thing we can do with. We give the example of a boy. He fell from a bridge into the water and he's shouting. And some person he jumped and he rescued the child. Now the shouting of the child did not rescue him. Even though he may shout for 10 hours also, he cannot come out of it. Somebody should rescue him from outside. And why did he do? So he attracted the attention. That's all. So this is our understanding. So because the adult rush, the question is the effort of this boy who fell in water, the reason for his salvation, his scream is no. Because they can, it is not, so sadhana is about that only. Sadhana is like we are crying, we are making an effort. And ultimately Krishna says, okay, maybe this fellow is good. And if Krishna want to give, when he want to give, that is not in our hand. That's why. So this is very important. Everyone, uh, it is said that tato, here this very famous verse from we have Madhuri Kadambini. I think Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Tato Anartha Nipti Nishtha Rachi Asakti Tata Prema. There it is said that the explanation is given. One can imagine, or in the scriptures we know that there are many different ways for gaining prema. Even Kamsa, he also ultimately gained prema. Because if that is the case, he was always thinking of Krishna. When Krishna squeezed him in his arms, he realized that he has to come out of the highest destination of being killed by Krishna. And Putana also, no, she also gained prema. So it is specifically stated that Putana becomes Krishna's nanny because she fed him poison and made her his nurse. But the bottom line is that there are ways that are very different to reproduce, like Kamsas or Putanas. That is not the way. It is very difficult for us to follow Putana or the path of Kamsa. What is described here is that the path, though it's an unknown territory, it is taken through acharyas. So acharyas are guiding us. That is the only possible way. We get deviated in Vrindavan. We get so many babas, so many styles, and so many emotions, but it will not lead to prema. That is the very important thing to understand. Here we are seeing in Bhagavatam, here Prithu Maharaj also, here how he is going back home, back to Godhead. So this is a very important understanding because it's a very tough path. It is razor's edge. Why it is razor's edge? Because we may get distracted at any time, and more and more we go higher and higher, it becomes more and more tough. And we'll see how Prithmaraj is not getting affected. Directly, he's happily going. At this last stage of his life, when Prithu saw himself getting old, that great soul who was king of the world divided whatever opulence he had accumulated, although amongst all kinds of living entities, moving and non-moving, he arranged persons for every one according to religious principles. After executing the orders of Supreme Lord, he completely coordinated with him. He decided his son and into the earth, and which was considered to be his daughter. So Mother Earth was considered to be daughter of Prithu Maharaj. And Maharaj left his citizens who were almost lamenting and crying from feeling separation from the king and went to the forest along with his wife to perform austerities. So the most important thing is like we give the example of a crow. If we are getting so much involved in sense gratification, then we forget the path in which we have to go. That is the danger. Now we should not do so much sense gratification. We will be clueless at the end of life. But Prithu Maharaj was very clear because he was not indulging in sense gratification, even though he has so many facilities. This is another danger. Mind get distracted. Like we example of a crow. it suddenly saw a dead corpse on the shore of an ocean. And very happy, it sat and started enjoying that corpse. And suddenly the wave started coming and took the corpse into the water. The crow did not even notice only. And slowly, the corpse started moving and it went some deep into the water. And crow was so much absorbed in eating, it didn't see only which direction is land. And suddenly it looked up and it saw in all directions there is water. And it was clueless which direction he should fly to get out of this water. And went around in different directions. Any direction it was only seeing water. Again came back on the corpse, ate for some time. But very soon it has to drown into the water. So that is the same situation for most of the people. It for us also many lifetimes. We were so much involved in sense gratification that we forgot that where I have to, which direction I have to go. But Pruth Maharaj was very clear. He knows which direction to go because he was already preparing for it. So we have to prepare whole life which direction to go. After retiring from family life, Pruth Maharaj strictly followed the regulations of retired life and underwent severe austerities in the forest. He engaged in these activities as seriously as he had formerly engaged in leading the government and conquering everyone. So this is he was everything he was doing with full absorption. In the Tapovana, Maharaj Prithu ate the trunks and roots of the tree and sometimes ate fruits and dry leaves, and for some weeks he drank only water. Finally he lived simply by breathing air. So he was doing quite a great austerities. From the principles of forest living and the footsteps of great sages and munis, Prithu Maharaj accepted five kinds of heating processes during the summer, exposed himself to torrents of rain in the rainy season, and in winter stood in the water up to his neck. He used to simply lie down on the floor to sleep. Our bodies are not suitable for this now. In the previous ages, the bodies were quite different. So that's why they can do such austerity. If we do this austerity for 1 week, we'll not live. We'll end up in hospital and then we may have to leave our body. So it was possible in that ages. Maharajputta underwent all these severe austerities in order to control his mind and his senses to refrain from discharging uh, his semen to control the life air within his body. All this he did for the satisfaction of Krishna. He had no other purpose. So he is very clear. Ultimately, you want to please Krishna. So Krishna don't need much tapasya, but sometimes some people want to do it. Kumar is saying, yeah, even if you want to do it for Krishna. I have certain tendency to do. That's not a problem. What is more important is doing it for Krishna is the more important thing. So here, by thus practicing severe austerities, Maharaj Prithu gradually became steadfast and spiritually completely free from all desires for fruitive activities. He also practiced breathing exercise to control the mind and senses. And by such control, he became completely free from all desires for fruit activity. So here, all things are mentioned properly. What all things needed for our advancement? First is free from desires for fruitive activities. That is the first thing, which is the most difficult for us because we have this karma tendencies. Anything we do we want result for it, anything we do we want result for it. So the karma tendencies are gone, desire for all fruitive activities. And then he breathing control, he practice control of his mind and senses. So this is yoga. Purpose of yoga is controlling mind and senses. And then desire for, and then he became completely free from all desires for fruitive activities also. That means even pious activities also one has to give up. So this is also karma tendency. People want to do some pious activities. This is the tendency to do good and pious activities. This is also another problem. And like now people, there is Ganapati festival, so people want to do some pious activities. So of course, we are not against it, but we are telling that is not needed. This is the best among human beings. Maharaj Pitu followed that path of spiritual advancement which was advised by Sanat Kumaras. Thus, That is to say, he worshipped the Supreme Personality. So here we have to know that even pious act like worshipping Ganapati not needed actually for devotees. They just offer obeisances and that's all. No need to keep Ganapati in the home, worship. All these things are not needed. The thing because the pious tendencies are there, we have to come out of it. That is very important. We should not get carried away by this. If now Navratri comes and then Lakshmi Puja and all these things. These are all pious activities. They are not devotional. No need of devotees. And they need not be afraid that, oh, any years I did, if I don't do, what will happen now? Nothing will happen. Whatever happens, Krishna will decide. Why we should be so much attached to what will happen to me? This is all, this is wrong tendencies. Maharaj Pitu thus engaged completely in devotional service, executing the rules and regulations strictly according to the principles 24 hours daily. Thus his love and devotion unto Supreme Lord developed and became unflinching and fixed. So this is actually what happened to Prithu Maharaj. And the next slokas says that by regularly discharging devotional service, Prithu Maharaj became transcendental in mind and could therefore constantly think of the lotus feet of Lord. Because of this, he became completely detached and attained perfect knowledge by which he could transcend all doubts. Thus, he was freed from the clutches of false ego and material conception of life. Vidyate hridayakandis Chindante sarvasamshayaha chiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishware. So this is actually what happened. Discharging you become transcendental in mind. That means he is not affected by the modes. Mind is now sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. So we are completely affected by all these three modes. Our mind is affected by it. Transcendent means mind is free from these modes and could therefore constantly think of the lotus feet of Lord. Why we are not able to think of Lord's lotus feet? Because we get affected by these modes. When we are in Sattoguna, we may able to think, and Rajoguna and Tamoguna, we think about so many other things. To the degree we are keeping our mind in Sattva, to that degree only we can think. That's all. And when we think of the Lord, what happens? Automatically detachment, jnana and vairagya comes. He became detached and attained perfect knowledge. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chadayitam. When we do Vasudeva Bhakti, Jnanam and Vairagyam are the byproducts. And because of which what happened? Vidyate Hridaya Kandis Chindate Sarva Samshaya Chiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evatmanishwari. So Vidyate Hridaya Kandis. All the doubts are gone. And his false ego, because that uh, knots are actually our false ego only. We identify with them. That's why we want to do in a particular way. Say, I have a particular identification with uh, some actions, then only I do it. Otherwise, I will not do it. That is all because of that karma knots. Because I think that I am a writer, I have that identity and I start doing it. So that is my attachment. That is my karma. Like that. So he was free from that conceptions. So Prabhupada writes that in Narada Pancharatha, devotional service to Lord is linked upon unto a queen. When a queen gives an audience, many maid servants follow her. The maid servants of devotional service are material opulence, liberation, and mystic powers. Karmis are attached to material enjoyment, Gyanis were anxious to become free from material clutches, and yogis are very fond of attaining 8 kinds of perfections. But Narada, from Narada Panchara, we understand that if we attain the stage of pure devotion, we also attain all the opulences derived from fruitive activities, empirical philosophy. That's why Gulungal Thakur says that, my Lord, if I have unflinching devotion to you, you become manifest before me personally, and the result of fruitive activities and empiric philosophy, speculation, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, liberation, become like a personal attendants and remain standing before me, waiting my order. This is. Prabhupada tells one nice point. He says that we have contacted a material body, material mind, and material intelligence. But when we become free from these material conditions, our spiritual body, spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence become manifest. At the spiritual level, also, we have all these three things. At the transcendental stage, a devotee attains all benefits of karma, jnana, yoga, although he never engages in fruitive activity, empirical speculation, mystic yoga. So, without doing all these things, we can get it. So I told na mind not getting affected. So when we do bhakti, mamsha abhicharana bhakti yogena sevate. We transcend these things. And uh, this is revision only. We already took these things, but it was a long break, a few days. So I am just revising. When we become completely free from the conception of bodily life, Maharaj Prithu realized Lord Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart as a Paramatma. Being thus able to get all instructions from him, he gave up all other practices of yoga and jnana. He was not even interested in the perfection of yoga and jnana systems, for he thoroughly realized that devotional service to Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. And unless the yoga and jnana is become attached to Krishna Katha, narration about Krishna, their illusion concerning existence can never dispel. So, very nice, important point. It is said why we become purified when we hear Krishna Katha. The important reason is when we hear about Krishna Katha, Krishna becomes very happy. If he is glorified, that is the psychology, this tendency is there. The tendency is there in Krishna. From Krishna only we got it. If somebody glorifies us, we become very happy. And that psychology is in Krishna also. If somebody glorifies, he becomes. If we please Krishna, immediately our heart becomes pure. And that's the reason we become happy. If we please Krishna, that Prahlad says that yatha mukham pratimukasya yatha mukham. Like say, if the reflection, the mirror, your person is decorated nicely, the reflection also becomes very beautiful. Similarly, Krishna is pleased, we also becomes very pleased. So that's how our pleasure should come, by pleasing Krishna. So here also the same thing is happening, that by Krishna Katha narration, we will be very happy in life. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Yeah, the question is in sadhana bhakti, we are doing activities related to bhakti recommended by acharyas. Yes, we are doing. We are only trying to attract the mercy of acharyas. Sorry, Krishna. That's all. Okay, thank you all very much.